right, a couple of big interviews talking football. I know there are a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans out there. The Dallas Cowboys, according to Facebook, the most popular NFL team in Unicoi, Carter, and Johnson County. I can understand Carter, Jason Witten, and all this. Maybe you can understand Unicoi because historically we've put the Cowboys games on the air here on both the AM and the FM side. Johnson County, what? Just an extension of that? Sort of that heartland appeal that I talk about. Rest of the state, or at least East Tennessee, is, according to Facebook, Titans. The Pittsburgh Steelers, actually, the most popular team, Washington County, Virginia, where Bristol, Virginia is. I keep saying that Bristol, Virginia wants to be Pittsburgh. Look, the baseball team's the Pirates. They got a Sheets and they got a Quaker Steak and Lube. And, yeah, Steelers the most popular team, and it's in a Commonwealth. You tell me. Anyway, we got Sir Pierogies there in the restaurants. Ron Neckeye, who we had on. There's by the way, that's an interview that you can watch archived, and it's on YouTube, I believe, as well. My interview with Ron Neckeye, the famous pitcher for the Bristol Twins way back when, 1952, who struck out 27 hitters, and then went on to the Pittsburgh Pirates and so on and so forth. So there's another, telling you, Bristol, Virginia wants to be Pittsburgh. Big story that everybody's talking about around in Tennessee is that the Vols, and I think the Vols are going to be good in 2 years on the hardwood. Next year, nobody in a front court. Okay? I mean, yeah. But after, Tennessee, hey, Rick Barnes likes those guards. Something we could have talked to Jack Stallard about. But Keon Johnson, who is a 4-star prospect. I'm not, big on the recruiting, but this has been the news of the Tennessee Volunteers for the day. So let's talk about it. Keon Johnson announced that he is going to play at Tennessee beginning in 2020. I guess he could be redshirted or so, but no, 2020. And he'll come in. He chose the Tennessee Volunteers over Ohio State. So this is the second commitment, along with Corey Walker, who also is expected. He's also a pretty nice, 4-star prospect, whatever that, for the Tennessee Volunteers in 2021. Like I said, 2021, I think, might now be. I think the Vols are going to regress. How could they not? They won 31 games, school record this past year. Just nobody playing forward and center that I can see. I mean, but 2021. I think would be a year that the Vols will rebound on the hardwood. Anyway, Johnson, who's from Middle Tennessee, in high school this past year as a junior, he averaged 25 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals, and was the MVP of USA Basketball's junior national team training camp in July. You know what? MVP of USA Basketball's junior national team training camp in July impresses me a whole lot more than, he has 4 stars. Because I've covered recruiting, and as I said, so often recruiting boils down to what schools are interested in him. Did he go to our camp or did he go to somebody else's? Baker Mayfield was a walk-on. So was Hunter Renfrow, who seems to be tearing up Oakland Raiders camp. But anyway, like I said, the news on that, I said, they put out the Vols schedule. It's going to be tough. Non-conference schedule. I get on the Vols for not coming back to Johnson City. They'll host Chattanooga. They won't host ETSU. I think that's very telling about the talent that ETSU will have, and you could say the talent that Tennessee has. There are a lot of Vols fans that just cannot believe that a mid-major could ever beat Tennessee, even though Chattanooga did it 3 years ago. Regardless, the situation comes out where I do think, as I said, Vols will probably regress this next year, but a 2021 season could be a year they come back. Especially if playing as a freshman, Keon Johnson is as good as they think he will be. On Friday, the ETSU Buccaneers will take off for about a 2-week trip to Europe. They'll go to, all sorts of places in Europe. They'll play 3 games. It'll be 12 days, actually, I guess. The idea is, I mean, I understand this, and this sort of shows the new ETSU. Remember when ETSU said, we can't afford that? And to a certain extent, they still do it by renting out Freedom Hall and not building a new arena for themselves. But what they're going to do, they're going to go to Europe, and Steve Forbes talks about the bonding that'll happen over there and so on and so forth. But it is, you know what this is? It's, hey, look what we do here at ETSU. We go to Europe in the summer. Don't you want to come to ETSU? Helps the international recruiting, makes it a little bit more exotic. I don't think they're doing this at Chicago State. But what's kind of interesting is they'll play 3 games over there, and Steve Forbes is going to put his feet up and give his whistle to B.J. McKay, Jason Shea, and Brooks Savage to coach the team. Now, B.J. Mackey, excuse me, I said McKay. B.J. Mackey, spelled Mackay, but it's Mackey, and I know this. I've known that since the 90s. B.J. Mackey was interviewed for the Wofford vacancy. We understood. So this is something that coaches do. They're trying to, shall we say, groom their assistants for head coaching vacancies in the future. And 100 victories in 4 years for ETSU. A lot of people saying, okay, maybe Shea, maybe Mackey, maybe Brooks Savage could be a future head coach coming up. I just wonder, though. I mean, look, I've seen baseball managers do this with their veteran ball players, especially when teams out of the race, and it's worked. They've oftentimes gotten better jobs because of it. But I do want to just say, if B.J. Mackey, if this helps, if it's one step closer to him getting a head coaching job, the way that a basketball staff is oftentimes put together, the 3-man assistant, there's often one player who used to be really good. And a lot of times he played at that school. John Calipari, he puts his staff that way. He basically has one guy who is very good playing at that school. He's on the coaching staff to sort of say to recruits and whatever, I did it, you can do it too. And then Calipari has a couple of buddies of his from Pittsburgh, okay? I mean, that's what basically he has. And that's kind of the way that the staff can oftentimes be put together, a couple of assistants, then one good player. Mackey, who is a great player at the University of South Carolina, he is that player for ETSU. And, it seems as if the star player is now becoming more and more the basketball coach. Witness Patrick Ewing. Witness Penny Hardaway. That was another reason why Mackey, whose name in South Carolina is gold, to the veteran basketball fan, would interview and be considered for the Wofford job. So consider that. If Mackey would get a coaching position, a head coaching position somewhere, I just wonder, and I'm going to throw it out there, you think Mister'd come back on the staff? Been coaching there and doing halfway decent job up at Banner Elk with the women's team there. Also, they have his movie. I gotta have write that down here. Bring on Mr. Jennings. It's waiting for the distribution date, but his movie he's had the final edit and the final cut, and it's all put together. And I'll tell you more about that when we return after this word from Asian House on Tri-City Sports Now.
Asian House, home of the Happy Box meal, featuring plentiful appetizers and rice around your choice of 20 mouth-watering Chinese dishes. Or try their Japanese fare, sushi, sashimi, and the grill. I had my birthday dinner at Asian House and was most satisfied. Find the great menu and deals at goasianhouse.com. Use Tom for catering. You'll be most satisfied too. Asian House, nestled in the Shops on West Market on the way to Jonesboro. Mention 1420 WEMB Sports Radio and get 10% off.